From the time Israel became a nation in 1948, it shall be 77 years until the Exodus. I recently made an observation. Could it be that this statement held the key to what many have been searching for this whole time? To help you understand what I'm going to try and show you, it's important to note that Jesus almost always spoke in parables, and often the meaning of his words would only become clearer much later, sometimes even years later. Like, for example, in the book of John chapter 2 verse 19, Jesus says, "Destroy this temple and I'll raise it up in 3 days." And I would say that the Pharisees were well within their rights to mock and scoff at this statement, because they pointed to a fact that the physical temple took 40 years to build, and yet Jesus was seemingly claiming that he would be able to rebuild it within 3 days. But of course we know that Jesus meant his body, which would be crucified and then raised after 3 days, which he stated in verse 21. Remember, the Bible says that God knows the end from the beginning. So I believe even in this scenario of the Exodus, the end of it is already known. Okay, let's break down the foundational message given to Joshua. It said, 77 years from the time Israel became a nation, which was in 1948, shall be the Exodus. And we've already established that it was an Exodus, not rapture, at least in that first statement. Okay, let's go forensic on this message again. Firstly, in May of 1948, Israel gained independence. And then secondly, 77 years, when Israel turns exactly 77 years old, that's what that statement means. And thirdly, that's when the Exodus shall begin, when Israel turns exactly 77 years old. In separate conversations, Joshua mentioned that he felt late in delivering the Lord's message. And in one account, he mentioned that he should have done it like much earlier, maybe around April. And I'll show you why that's important just now. If you ask most people when was Israel's independence, they almost always say May 14, 1948. And while that's true, that was only true for that particular year, because Israel doesn't use the Western calendar like we do. On their calendar, their Independence Day falls on the 5th of Iyar, which is the second month in the Jewish calendar. And that means that it falls on a different Gregorian date every single year. Let's use Google and see when Israel's independence was this year. You'll notice that it says the 30th of April 2025. So I propose to you that this was when the Exodus started, if we take the words given to Joshua plainly. Okay, let's go even deeper. We need to talk about calendars, but I promise you it's going to be a lot more simple than you've come to experience over the past 2 months, or maybe I should say over the past 2 moons, pun intended. But for now, let's throw away all the calendars. I came to understand the following thanks to a small YouTuber who was led to build a calendar from scratch just by looking up at the night sky. I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel. It's called Franco Flum over here, and in it he actually details you how he came up with this method thanks to the Holy Spirit. So basically, he was led to use the full moon as an anchor point. The full moon is always the 14th day of the biblical or celestial month. And that's why feasts like unleavened bread and Passover and tabernacles, that's why they always fall on a full moon. Particularly the 14th day in the case of unleavened bread and the 15th day in the case of tabernacles and Passover respectively. Okay, let's try illustrate this point. For example, on the 12th of May 2025, the full moon fell that was the full moon basically. And we now know that the full moon would be the 14th day of any given month. And to know the first day of the month, we simply count back from that full moon, which will be the 14th day, and we just go all the way back to 1. For example, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, all the way until you reach 1. And to get the rest of the month, we simply look for either the next full moon or the previous full moon. In this case, I'll just scroll over to the next full moon, which just happened to be on June 11. And then we use the exact same method again, since we know that every full moon is the 14th day. And then we count 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, until we get to 1. And now that we've got these 14 days for the beginning of the next month, we know how to we can calculate this. The difference is basically the remaining days. We just go 15 until the first day, and you'll find that it's always 30 days or 29 days, which make up a month in this calendar system. And that's precisely the methodology, at least according to my understanding, that he used to be able to flesh out this calendar, which you'll actually find is quite biblically accurate. I checked it against things like Torah calendar, the Essenes calendar. It's similar in principle, and most of those calendars, the only point where they tend to differ is when the year starts, and that's what we're trying to resolve today. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, remember how we established that the 30th of April 2025 was the 77th anniversary of modern Israel? Okay, check this out. Using this lunar method of determining time, April 30th falls exactly on the first day of the month using this methodology. And that's exactly 14 days inclusive from the full moon, which was on May 12th, 2025. And so what does this mean? As you know, the big controversy has always been which calendar the Lord has been using, or the Lord was using to determine Joshua's statement. Well, I suggest and propose to you that the Lord was telling us exactly when to start counting the year. Basically, as soon as Israel turns 77, that's when we start the Exodus calendar. And this is where it gets interesting. The guy who made this calendar, I left a comment on his video. He didn't even notice that that Israel's birthday was pretty much on this day, but he had other excellent explanations. I'll let you watch his videos just so you can see what he meant. But for now, I'm just showing you the calendars. So the first month is obviously this one, and then let's go to the second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month, the sixth month, which is October there, and then the seventh month here is predominantly what we have here as November. So if you can tell on this method of reckoning time, remember we had our big high watch date of 23/24. You see how we were viewing it as Feast of Trumpets? That's how this calendar also views it, and pretty much all the dates which we watched for. Also the Day of Atonement, we watched it for the 1st and 2nd of November. After that, Halloween, that's what we watched as well. And also the recent watch period which we had, which started on November 5th. There we have that full moon over there, and the starting of the tabernacles on this calendar. And also at that time, we were viewing the 16th and the 17th. This also falls in line with this calendar over here as well. So what's interesting is that the 7th month, as we know, is September in Latin, Septembris, which is also September, and the 23rd and 24th would have fallen on the 14th and the 15th. So that's why this has been a very major high watch, especially over this weekend. In various other ways, people were watching this one here, this scenario pan out. But I propose to you that if you noticed, the message which Joshua received in a dream said that the 14th and the 15th days will pass. And then it says on the 16th and 17th shall be the rapture of the church. So this is the next high watch period. Personally, this is probably the last high watch period I'm watching for. I just thought that I'd put that out there, and I think that's just worthwhile. So I repeat, Joshua's statement said that on the 23rd and 24th of September, the Lord said, I will come to take my church. He didn't say I'll rapture the church. He says he will come to take the church. And then later it says that the rapture will be on the 16th and the 17th. So one way of looking at that, using First Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16, the Lord Himself will descend from heaven. That is the equivalent of the. That's the equivalent of I will come to take my church, and then this one here is the equivalent of where it says shall be caught up together with them to meet the Lord in together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. This is the rapture of the church, which will be on the 16th and 17th, according to this way of viewing things. And that's pretty much what I wanted to share. And another interesting thing is on the 13th of November, I was watching with everyone else, and I remember being at work, and in the morning, I heard the words, proclaim my name. And I felt that as from the Lord. And it was interesting, it came before the 23rd and 24th. And to be honest, I did my best to honor what I felt was that proclamation at that time. I just made a post on my YouTube community channel, and I just put this one. I made this image, and I pretty much said, the time is at hand, the Lord Jesus is coming. And there's more which I would have said here, which you can take a look. You can pause and watch it for yourself, or just go directly to my channel. And that's about it. I don't know the day or the hour, and I never have. I just feel led to encourage people as we see that day approaching. And I don't see, personally, I don't see anything wrong with watching. After all, in Luke chapter 12, verse 36 and 37, it says, "Blessed are those servants whom the master, when he comes, will find watching." And that's all I have to say. Maranatha, everyone.